9th of May, for crying out loud. A Wednesday, there will be a parade. We'll put up a release about it later. It's actually going to travel from the parking lot at the VF Outlet and McDonald's area back up to the Sovereign Center. There will be a celebration at Sovereign Center. The parade will start at 6. The event at the Sovereign Center will start at 7. For those who want to go to the event at Sovereign Center only, there's free parking at the Doubletree parking garage that evening, courtesy of Reading Parking Authority. We'll get everybody there. We'll have the Kelly Cup, the coach, the players. We'll get comments from everybody. So the Royals will have a party in Reading. I suppose that's the only, if you want to call it a downside, the only difficulty. The Royals, who had home ice advantage throughout the playoff season, actually clinched every playoff series they won in the postseason, Pat Richards, on the road, for crying out loud.
And I think Riley Gill, I'm assuming he has been awarded the most valuable player in the playoffs, a deserved recognition. Yannick Tifu had an outstanding playoff, but Riley Gill was the glue. And except for those couple of games he missed in round one, you mentioned how brilliantly he had played in the regular season, and I think he stepped it up a notch in the playoffs.
He was particularly good tonight, Pat. You look at the score, 6-0 here in Game 5 in the Kelly Cup Finals, favoring the Royals. It looks like a cakewalk for Riley Gill. He actually had to come up with some huge stops, particularly in the early going. We talked about the one on the play where the weak side opportunity for Matt Reber, a shot by Andrew Clark, where the goaltender Gill was able to go pipe to pipe on a big stop. Andrew Clark had an opportunity in tight. The game was still 0-0 at that point. I love the save he made on Eric Hunter on the power play after the Royals had scored a shorthanded goal at that point to make it 3-0, and comes up with a huge glove save on that one. Robbed Maxime Boisclair a couple of times. It may not look like it on the score sheet, but this 4th playoff shutout for Riley Gill, his 7th shutout for the Royals over the course of the season since joining the team on February the 28th. He had to come up big on some stops, Pat Richards.
He did, and there was another one on Maxime Boisclair with about 1:15 left in the second period. Even though it was a 5-0 lead at that point, another big save. You had the feeling that if Stockton, especially in the second period, had gotten a goal, it might have fueled them to make a game of it. But the Royals ended up winning it 6-0. Now the Kelly Cup is being brought to center ice and will soon be awarded to Royals captain Yannick Tifu.
And the commissioner emeritus is right there, Brian McKenna as well. He is the commissioner of the ECHL. 25th anniversary season for the league. The 17th Kelly Cup being awarded. The Reading Royals first ever. Here comes Yannick Tifu. He's on the red carpet. He has the Kelly Cups in his arms right now. The team anticipating his raising it over his head as the photographers are getting their shots. Patrick Kelly handling the cup as well. Yannick Tifu, Pat, this takes care of some disappointment that he had in 2007 as a member of the Dayton Bombers. And now Tifu raises the cup into the air for the first time in his pro career. The 8th year pro, Yannick Tifu, has battled his way. You talk about important acquisitions for the Royals. Back in November the 28th of 2011, acquired from the Chicago Express, Kirk McDonald, a player who had many options over the course of this season to play in the American Hockey League, elected to stay with the Royals, a huge component of the team, now hoisting the cup over his head.
And of course, next in line, Ethan Cox, another one of the leaders on this team, and you mentioned, Mark, in the regular season, never has a player been more valuable than Ethan Cox, despite scoring only 8 goals. Wonderful in the room, brilliant penalty killer, maximum effort every night.
I'm presuming it would be Patrick Weller next. It will be Patrick Weller next, Pat. Only the second player in ECHL hockey history to have his name engraved on the Kelly Cup 3 times as a player. The 4th professional championship of Patrick Weller. I can't underestimate the importance or overstate the importance of Patrick Weller towards this team as Riley Gill now takes the cup from Patrick Weller's hands and holds it. Riley Gill, who's the MVP of the playoffs for the Royals, acquired on February the 28th, Pat Richards, late in the season, one of many late season adjustments by head coach Larry Corville. That one kind of paid a relatively large dividend.
I think that paid off in spades now. Nikita Kashirski gets his second opportunity with the Kelly Cup. And Mark Thompson, what do they say? It weighs 27 pounds unless you're lifting it. I'll bet it feels light as a feather to these Reading Royals players.
As now hoisting it, Dustin Stevenson. There are certain players, Pat, I know that you look at the score sheet and it may not be reflected exactly what they've meant to this team. The confidence exhibited by Dustin Stevenson all season long, absolutely crucial. Bryant Molly now holding it. He has won consecutive championships in the Central Hockey League last season as a member of the Fort Wayne Comets. This season with the Reading Royals. He doesn't know anything but winning championships, Pat Richards.
Well, and now big Alex Berry, the Bearcat, who had that bitter taste in his mouth even till today from that series against Cincinnati a few years back where Cincinnati came back from 3-0 down and eliminated the Royals in the conference finals. What redemption and celebration.
Evan Barlow, who lost a cup as well in 2010 to the Cincinnati Cyclones of all people, as a member of the Idaho Steelheads. He hoists it as well. Joel Champagne, he scored the 6th goal for the Royals tonight. It was well decided by that point, but Joel Champagne, a critical component to this team all season long. Of course, he's one of the many players that the Royals have been fortunate enough to receive through the Washington Capitals and Hershey Bears, and we would be remiss, Pat Richards, if we didn't mention how important the affiliation relationship with the Washington Capitals, with the Hershey Bears, working with the George McPhee and the entire hockey operations staff, Doug Yingst there in Hershey, and all of the good people in Hershey. I don't believe the Royals would be hoisting this piece of hardware at this moment without the affiliation relationship that we had with Washington and Hershey.
Couldn't agree more, Mark. You look at the talent that came here. Stan Galiev stands out for that power play goal. It's been passed to Mark Matera, former first-round draft pick out of the University of Michigan, to Brock Shelgren, and now some of the players have gone to the locker room and have their smartphones taking their own photographs to remember this moment as the cup continues to be passed, and each and every person on the ice, including the coaches and the training staff and the athletic staff, will have their moment with the Kelly Cup. And it's something you talk about to players at any level. They never, ever forget. And Mark Thompson, of all the cup presentations, remember the Colorado Avalanche, Ray Bourque, after 22 years, that moment when he raised the cup and closed his eyes and kissed